3 years ago, me, my brother Billy, and his fiancée Gwendolyn took on the mammoth task of restoring this stunning French chateau. At first, it was just the three of us. But since then, the whole family has moved in to help bring this place back to its former glory. And not forgetting the newest family member, baby Ernest. We do everything ourselves, from fixing the leaky roof, managing the vast 60-acre estate, to restoring the grand interiors back to the way they were 100 years ago. It's not always easy, but that's what makes life in a place like this interesting. My name's Michael, and I'm going to be showing you what it's like to live, work, and play at Chateau de Basmaignee. At the minute, we're taking out this old mud floor, and it's quite compacted, so we're having to use this beast to dig it out. And I've got Sean here and my dad helping, so there's plenty of us, so we should be able to get some work done. So here we go. We've already taken that out, so I'll take some more. Well, we've only got one wheelbarrow at the minute because this one's full of the old Tomet floor tiles. So I need to take these out, and then that way I can help them dig out the floor. Last couple of bricks. Just going to get some more of this mud out. Where am I taking it? Round that way. Oh. So what's this stuff called? You said it's called hogging.
Yeah, it's called hogging, yeah.
What is it?
It's a sand, stone and clay mixed together.
Yeah.
And you dig it out the ground on top of rock and stuff like that. You get this hogging on top of the ground, and you dig it up, and obviously use it in here, and you whack it, and it goes down so tight.
Yeah.
It's really good stuff. It's
all got sparkly bits in it, like pyrite, and we've got loads of that down by the lake in the stream bed.
Well, that's where it's come from.
Yeah.
Obviously, this stuff. Because a tree fell down a couple of weeks ago, and it came up, and this was underneath. The tree was sitting on top of this stuff.
Yeah, so they've just dug it out of the forest.
They've dug it out of the forest and brought it up here to make the floor.
Well, we're swapping it for concrete, so it can go now. It's done its job.
So this is our bathroom, or this is supposed to be our bathroom. We removed the old lino from the floor, but there's adhesive on the floor that we need to get rid of so we can clean the floor and get the parquet back. But it's a nightmare to take off. And then we're using the steam and then scraping the adhesive off of the floor, and it takes forever. So Ernest is having his nap right now. This is actually the only time I can help him do things. I normally use this time to do emails, but today I'm doing a bit of DIY because it's been ages.
Well, the floor's all been dug out. So what are you up to now, Dad?
Just finishing off the finishing touches so it's the right level for the concrete.
Yep.
Right, make sure there's no high spots.
Yep. And you're gonna compact it all with this thing?
Yeah, this is a compactor plate.
Yeah.
Whacker plate, as you call it. And then make sure the ground is solid underneath.
Right, I'm just going to finish clearing out this room out here because there's still loads of stuff. Got to find homes for all of it. Okay, so we've dug out the floor, that's all gone. We took out about 4 cubic meters of soil, so that's all been dumped outside. And now we're just waiting for the concrete lorry to arrive. What we've done is we've put these long rails in, and they've been brought up to the perfect level with a laser. And we are gonna, once the concrete lorry arrives, we're gonna have it put into wheelbarrows, and we're gonna keep bringing it in, wheelbarrow by wheelbarrow, and dump it in. And my dad's going to use his rails and a long piece of wood, and he's going to float. He's going to basically drag that across the concrete to get a perfect level. So we're just waiting for it to arrive now, and you'll see it all coming in. So this part in here has all been dug out as well, and these levels have been put in so that the concrete floor, when it's poured in there, will be the same height all the way through into this area. Now we've got a problem. This room is not as wide as I thought. So where I wanted to put the door upstairs that would come through into an upstairs area here, that actually would have gone into Mum and Dad's house next door. So that plan has been changed. So the bathroom is now going to be downstairs in here. We're going to put a wall across here and across here like an L shape so that you can still access the back door here. And I'm going to put a bathroom downstairs and I'm going to put a roof on the bathroom, and then possibly like a nice wooden ladder or something so that I've got an extra space above the bathroom to use as storage or even possibly a little office. So plans have changed, but it's okay because, you know, it's going to actually have a nice big bathroom now. And the concrete is going to be brought in through this door here. The lorry's going to park here, and obviously we can't get a pump into there because there's a wall in the way to get to the front door and it can't get around that corner. So what's going to happen is we're going to have all of these wheelbarrows. The lorry is going to dump the concrete barrow by barrow into the wheelbarrows. We're going to wheel it in and we're going to tip it in there, and Dad's going to level it off. So it's going to be a lot of work, but it's going to happen quite quickly. So as soon as the lorry arrives, it's all hands on deck. Also, really quickly, I want to thank Jason Nash, who sent me this beautiful Peter Rabbit. So I think it's a garden ornament. I hope it is, because it said it was gardening home on the box. So he is going to live outside the cottage. I'm just going to put him here in the herb garden. Bed him in a bit. There we go. My first Peter Rabbit thing outside the cottage. So thank you very much. I'll go this side. Cleared it. Just had to hold the cables out of the way because they're too low. I'll leave that there. Right, it's finally here. cottage is going to get a new concrete floor, finally. I'll get this one, yeah? Oh, hello. It's typical, isn't it? Just as it arrives, it starts pouring down. Where do you want this one? Yeah. Just there, yeah? Get that bit of wood out of the way. Yep, good. I'm going backwards now. Woo. Oh, that one's heavy. Oh, bit of wood in the way there. Going this way. We filled this one right up, look. Where do you want it? Just there?
In the corner.
Behind the step?
Yeah, and behind the step.
Right. Just there? Lovely. Lovely bit of concrete. Sure, fill that one up, didn't he? Next. Yep. It's good. Done that much so far. Right, so the concrete's all gone in, it's been levelled off. My dad worked really hard, Sean worked really hard. Billy, you worked really hard as well. So it's all done now, but it's going to take a few days to set, so we can't really do much more in here over the weekend. But when it's all done, we can start going in and sorting the walls out. So good progress so far. Well, it's been less than 24 hours since the concrete was put in, and I thought this would take a few days to dry, but whatever the French concrete is, it's really fast setting. You know, you're able to walk on it straight away, basically, but my dad recommends not doing any heavy work in here for a couple of days, just to let it properly set. For now, we can walk on it. And one thing I need to do is I need to put the front door back on because we had to take it off yesterday because it would have been in the way when we were putting the concrete in. So I'm going to go get the front door and put that on now. So the front door is here. Hope it's not too heavy. It's really heavy. Well, the last thing I want to do is break this glass, so I've got to be careful. That is a solid front door. Let me get this through. I've got to try and get this back on now. Well, it's on the pins. Is that on? It's on. Right, see you later. Bye. You can see that there's still a bit of a gap underneath the old wood. So the floor now is slightly lower than it used to be. So to bring it up to the floor, it's going to have a little bit of something poured into it. Anyway, all of this wood and stuff has got to be taken off and replaced anyway. So if the floor is a smidge lower than it used to be, it doesn't matter because we've gained about an extra inch of head height in the room, which isn't a problem at all. And actually it was essential that we lowered the floor very, very slightly because this bit through here was a slightly different level. So now, as you walk through, it's all completely the same level. And upstairs, this week, we were going to take the ceiling out upstairs first before we put the concrete floor in. But the concrete delivery people only had yesterday to deliver this. So we had to prioritise getting the floor dug out and having that put in. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to have this put in until next week, which would have held us up quite a bit. So at least the concrete floor's done now. We'll give it a few days to set so we don't do any heavy work on it. Starting Monday, we're going to get upstairs and we're going to rip all of the ceiling out, but we're also going to take out all of these old rotten floorboards. As you can see, they're in a bit of a state. But I've had a plan with these floorboards. Yeah, so all of these floorboards that we're going to take out upstairs, obviously not all of it is rotten, but we're not going to be able to find new floorboards that match them. So they're going to be a different size. So we can't replace bits of it. What we're going to have to do is take all of it out and find a new floor for upstairs. But all the pieces of the floorboards upstairs that are salvageable, I'm going to use them for other things. So for instance, like round the bottom of the walls here, I'm going to have it lime plastered probably down to about here. But the bottom part, I'm going to reuse the lovely old oak floorboards as like a sort of tongue and groove thing along the wall. I don't know if you've ever seen it before, but you put like tongue and groove bits of wood and you put a lovely skirting board on the bottom of it and some sort of thing to finish it off, like a nice, what do you call it, a dado rail or something a bit bigger. So I'll probably have that all along the front here, so the tongue and groove, and probably in the bathroom as well if we've got enough, because I think that looks quite nice in bathrooms. You have like the tongue and groove up so far and then lovely vintage tiles above that, and then the rest of it just plaster above. So I think that's going to look quite nice. So we'll try and save everything that we can. For instance, the door that used to be here, there used to be a wooden wall across here, but I mean, I'm toying with it, whether I should put it back or not. So I could either put it back and have a slightly smaller room, or I could actually face the bottom of the staircase and have this as part of the room. So here you've got enough room for like a coffee table maybe, and a nice armchair, or even a small sofa. I may even be able to squeeze my piano under here, probably not actually, but it's a nice idea. And under the staircase, you've got this piece here, which would come across flat, and then the rest of the stairs come down. So what I could do is, this piece here, I could put cupboard doors on the back, and then that way I've got something for my vacuum cleaner and a mop, they could all go in there. Either that, or I'll put it back across and have this as a large cupboard. So it's undecided, but Either way, it's going to look nice, but I probably will have it open because it'll make the room a lot bigger. And staircase is going to stay because we've still got most of it. The bits that we haven't got, we can replace. So there's a lot we can do in here. And I want to reuse as much as possible. So if I don't put the door back that was here, I'll take that door and I'll put it on the bathroom. So it won't get thrown away. And next thing I've got to do is obviously I've got to take out the ceiling upstairs, rip up these floorboards, and then these old beams, I'm going to try and find somebody that can do it, or if not, I'll try and hire the equipment. And I want to sandblast all the beams. So that'll look really nice. And I like them when they're all cleaned up and they look like a nice light oak. And you can put a bit of stain on them, but I like them when they're just bare wood. So yeah, it's a lot to do. So starting Monday, we're going to continue in here. And you never know, it might start to happen quite quickly. So hopefully I can be in by Christmas. I haven't actually showed you inside the greenhouse since the very, very first episode of doing it ourselves. And that was back in March, the 20th of March. And there was barely anything in here then. So let's have a look and see what's in here now. I was worried because I hadn't planted any tomatoes. And lo and behold, tomatoes had planted themselves. From the tomatoes that were here last year. Obviously some of these, they drop off, land on the soil, and the seeds stay there till next year, so no need to plant anything. And what else have we got here? These are courgettes or zucchinis. We didn't plant any of these. These are all things that have just kind of self-seeded. Look, there's some cherry tomatoes. That one's ripe. Oh, I can see Gwen and Ernest. Let's see what they're up to. What are you up to?
Well, we came to see if there were any raspberries because Ernest just discovered them a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
And he discovered where they come from. So we've come to see if he wants any more, if there's any.
What have you got, Ernest? Raspberries. Wow.
Are you going to eat it?
I think there's another one here, Ernest. Look, under here. Oh, there's a good one there. Look. There you go. That's for you.
Mama.
Oh, is that one for Mama now? Thank you.
How did the floor go in your bathroom? Did you manage to get much of it off?
I have probably 2/3 off.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, maybe not as much actually. Maybe half.
Yeah, but
Yeah, because I
Ernest.
forgot there's a bit at the end. Yeah, I may have about half.
Yeah, and Ernest woke up probably, so you
Yeah, I
have to
spent
stop.
2 afternoons, well, 2 naps so far.
Yeah.
Didn't have time today, so I'll have to start again next week.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Ernest? This is a waste.
No, don't throw them on the floor.
They're for
And
stinging
don't touch the
nettles.
stinging nettles. No. All the straw. Oh, look. There's. Well, I've just stung myself. There's some strawberries.
Oh.
I thought they'd all finished for the year.
No, there's new flowers as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, look, there's flowers there, there.
Does Ernest
Not
like?
tons.
Does Ernest like strawberries?
Well, first time he came here, he had tons of strawberries at
Yeah.
once, and he loved them.
Yeah.
And ever since that, he hasn't been that keen, so I reckon he ate way too many at once.
Strawberry, Ernest. Strawberry. You want the big one? You want the big strawberry? Of course you
He's not
do.
silly.
Mmm. So we've got gladioli. I don't know what these ones are. These are marigolds, daisies. Some more gladioli there. I think these are lilies. Well, they're definitely lilies. And also some lilies there. And these, I'm not sure what these are. Are these dahlias? Maybe they're dahlias. So what have we got in the vegetable patch? We've got beans. We've got carrots. A couple of rows of carrots. There's beetroot there as well. These definitely are courgettes. Lots of courgettes there. And these are, well, these are potatoes. I said to my dad, I think they need weeding, but he assures me that it doesn't matter, the weeds will die off. And when the potato plants die off, you just start digging them out. So they're fine. Got loads of apple trees. actually, I just want to show you something really cool that I just planted. One thing that we have in the UK, which I absolutely love, is Bramley apple trees. Now, apparently, they're quite hard to find in France, and the French don't really use them, apparently. So, the two things that we were missing were definitely a pair of Bramley apple trees. So, let me just show you these. Just here, there was an old orchard, and the trees were really, really old, and the apples were really, really small and probably not good for eating. They were more probably suitable for making cider with, and the trees were all covered in sort of mould and things like that, so they had to be pulled out, I'm afraid. But I ordered a pair of young Bramley apple trees. There's the second one there, and funnily enough, they actually came from Belgium, but the original Bramley apple tree is in England, and it's just dying now, the original Bramley apple tree. So we've got two here. So when they're big enough and they start producing apples, I'll use these to make apple pies, and they're going to be delicious. Right, well, I hope you like the little tour of the garden. You're going to see more work happening on the cottage starting next week. So until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.